Okay, we're continuing on with assignment 2 for CPI 111. In the previous couple of videos, we created essentially everything from chapter 2 in our book. Now we're going to, in this video, add on a new room that will act as a sort of introduction into the game, show a title for the game, a start button, and a quit button. So let's go ahead and get that going. If you remember where we left off, here's our game we had before. I can fire at the dragons, I can get a score, I can save the little baby dragons and earn points there as well. But when the game ends, right now, it just sort of restarts. So I'd like to make it a little bit better than that. So what we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to create a new room. And in Game Maker, each of your rooms can be a different set of dimensions. So generally, it's a good idea to have each room be the same dimensions when you go to publish your game as a desktop executable, in our case for Windows. It looks a little odd from time to time if you move from one room to the next room and the sizes are different. So let's keep it at 640 by 480. I'm going to rename our room. This is going to be Room Title. And let's grab a background. We're going to use the same background we used in the main part of the game. We'll use it here as well. Now, in the earlier part of this lesson, we brought in a whole bunch of sprites. I've gone ahead and brought in a couple of more sprites. These are a start image for a button we're going to have, and also a quit button image. Those images are included in the same Dragon Items folder that you've used earlier. And in fact, there are other images for other buttons. There's a score button, there's a help button. For now, we're just going to work with the start button and the quit button. Once we've got those sprites set up, we can go ahead and create objects for them. Let's start with the start object. So I'm going to create an object, call it obj underscore, and just to let myself know it's a button, I'll call it obj underscore button underscore start. Choose that start sprite. Then we're going to add an event, and it's going to be a mouse left button event. And then for our action, what we want to have happen is we want to move from the starting sort of title room into the main room where the game is playing. There are different ways we can do this. We're going to go to the main 1 tab, come down to the room section, and you'll see that there are actions here to move to a previous room, move to the next room, restart the room, go to a different room, and so on and so on and so on. So we're going to go ahead and choose this go to next room action and say OK. And that's pretty much it for our start button. Now, if we're going to the next room, it's important for us to take a look down here at our list of rooms. You'll see that we created our main gameplay room earlier, and now we just created this title room. Because of the order in which we created the rooms, the room that we just created is second in the list. So we'd actually like to drag that up and have it be first in the list, and have the main gameplay room be second in the list. Therefore, that action, the go to next room, will sort of make sense, right? It's going to go on to this next room. I'm going to rename our main game room while we're at it. Call it Room Game. All right. Let's go now into, well, actually, we can probably try this out. Let's go into our title room and go to the Objects tab, grab that Start button, and I'm going to place it down near the bottom over here on the left-hand side. Say OK, save the whole thing, and start it. Now when I start it, you'll see that because I've got that title room as set up as the first room, it loads. Not much here yet, and there's this little start button down here, and if I click on it, then it drops me into the main part of the game. And when I lose, it brings me back to the initial room. Let's bring in another object. I'm going to have to bring in a sprite with it. So I'm going to go to my sprite creation, and this is going to be called SPR_title. And in fact, I think I've already got it in here. So let me show you what it looks like. Here is my, out of that same folder, here is this title sprite. And so I'm going to create an image, rather an object, that's going to use that title image. And I'm going to add one event to this title object. I'm going to use the title object as a kind of manager object for that title room. When the game restarts currently, if the player loses, one thing that was happening with the way we had set it up is that the background music would continue playing. And I'd actually like that to not happen. So what I'm going to do is add a create event, and I'm going to choose the stop sound action and choose the music sound. And say OK. And OK. Then I'll come down back into my title room. I'm going to grab that title object and place it out in my room. That's location is pretty good. Again, if you don't place it quite where you like it, you can mess around. No, I don't really like any of those. Let's see. That's good right there. Okay. Now we're looking like more of a title screen. Right now it doesn't have any music. You can decide for yourself whether you want your music to start playing when you enter the main game or whether you want it to play when you're here in the intro screen. I've got it set up to not play here and not start until we're into the main game. And then if I get killed, it takes me back to this main screen and the music stops as well, and then it restarts again when we get into the main part of the game. So that's pretty straightforward. Let's create a quit button next. So obj_btn for button and then quit. And I'll choose my quit button sprite to go with it.